No role plays, just real. Chris and Lorenzo share 4 decades of combined experience to help you become a more effective leader.
We've never really, as a workforce, spent a lot of time on making sure we're developing good leaders.
We'll be able to share stories, experience, mistakes, failures, successes.
This is Hacking Your Leadership.
Welcome to Hacking Your Leadership. I'm Chris.
And I'm Lorenzo.
And Lorenzo, we're talking about our 8-episode series right now on the theories of leadership as per the Monday.com article. If you're just joining us for the first time in a month, go back and listen to the last 3 episodes, the last 3 Mondays, where we talked about different leadership theories like the great man or great person theory, trait theory, behavioral theory. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 4th of these 8 theories. And it might be my favorite one. Maybe I'm biased because it's the one that I tend to be good at compared to the other ones, so therefore I like it. It's the best one because I am the one that is good at it, yes. It is Transformational Leadership Theory. And Transformational Leadership Theory it basically says that leadership success it happens based on the relationships you have with other people. And that's it. You develop good relationships. You can rely on those relationships. They become capital. They become currency to use to call on people to get things done. I have a good relationship with you. You have a good relationship with me. Therefore, you trust me and I trust you. So when I ask you to get something done, to perform in a certain way, to do certain things, you're more likely to do that for me because you don't look at it as that you are performing for a company or for your employer, but rather for the person you have a relationship with, who is me. And I like this a lot because I've always felt like I'm good at creating relationships. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that so much of what we've talked about and some of the things that we've said and in our podcast and just in our leadership in general is that building relationships over time and building spaces of trust and allowing people to be themselves and understanding the person. To be able to motivate them and inspire them and get them the development they need. I think when you're typically, when you have relationships in life with people that you trust, you can truly just be yourself and you can show up and you feel like you're not being judged and people accept you for who you are, and all those things matter so much. But like it's why when people, I think in general, like in society, when people show up and they're just like good being them. Like you just see, like you meet them for the first time, you see them out there, and they are just having a great time being themselves, and it feels like they don't have a care in the world, and
they're comfortable in their own skin and in the place they are in the world.
Yeah, and you see that, and you're like, wow, like that seems weird, or like
it does.
Right. It's such a thing that we don't see that often that it makes us like that is so weird. It's like the what's the leader video with the guy dancing? The first follower,
the second,
right?
the first follower, yeah.
Exactly. But that's the whole idea, is that somebody is out there just doing their own thing, and on the surface it looks weird, but then when you give yourself up to that freedom to be yourself and to just enjoy it, now all of a sudden more people are likely to follow that same type of suit. And I think in this specific one, like this is that understanding of relationships and allowing people to be themselves. And I like the fact that they call out that this might not be the best all the time. And I think that's also very, very true, because you can have a good relationship with people. You can be like, what do you need from me? Is there anything that you need? And it's like, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But if you also have a really good relationship with people, sometimes they don't want to disappoint you. And sometimes they want to feel like they're taking on the responsibility. They want to feel like you've given them this thing and they trust, and trust to go do it. And if they need more direction or guidance, sometimes they won't ask for it. And that can lead to situations where now there is a relationship rub and you have to redefine some things. So it is something for me that I think is so critical, and that I have seen great leaders do for me, that I want to always kind of pay forward and teach other leaders how to do. But I also truly believe there are spaces and times when you have to be conscious enough to realize that even with great relationships, sometimes there is very clear direction or training that needs to happen.
Yeah. I was thinking a lot about the people you're talking about who are just kind of comfortable being who they are. I think it's envy. I mean, I think that for most people who are good at doing, who think they're good at doing it themselves, at putting on kind of a mask that says I'm supposed to be here, that deep inside that they're thinking I'm not supposed to be here. And so when they see somebody who genuinely appears to belong where they are. That they are not trying to be someone they're not. They are just comfortable being who they are. There's a part of everybody else who sees that and goes, "Damn, I want that. I want to be that." And if I don't know how to be that right away, if I can't just look at it as a reminder, oh yeah, that's what I need to do. Much easier said than done, obviously. So those people have others that gravitate towards them because what they're trying to do is they're trying to learn by osmosis. They're trying to kind of almost subconsciously say, I want some of whatever that person has, that thing that says that I'm just comfortable being who I am and I don't have a care in the world. But it's not, I don't have a care in the world, meaning the world can be, going to crap around me and I don't care. It's, I don't have a care in the world because everything around me, I control it like a well-oiled machine. And I'm so graceful and good at it that it becomes effortless. It's like, remember the moment in the Matrix where at the very end where he realizes, how to control the Matrix, right? And he ends up like fighting them with one hand instead of two. And he almost does the whole like yawn thing. Like, I don't even need to, it's this like, it's this epiphany light bulb moment where you realize that the people who put the most effort into something, that appear like they're putting the most effort into something, that it becomes like they hurt themselves more than help themselves because they're almost trying too hard. And these people who appear like they're not trying as hard tend to get a lot of things done. But it takes skill to get there, to be able to have that place, even though it looks effortless. And so that's why I think a lot of people gravitate towards people like that. The thing that I like about where it says that it's not the right approach sometimes, is it's something that it calls me out. When I read this, it's a little triggering because these are the moments when I tend to like write people off when I shouldn't. And so, like I'll give a perfect example of this. I've been in leadership roles where in retail stores where employees are like, I applaud and I give praise to employees who don't need me. Meaning they make a decision that should be a leadership decision, but they know how to make good decisions, and so I want them to make the decision on their own, and then I will back them up or whatever that is. And then there are some people who just don't want to make the decision. They want the leader to come in and make the decision. They don't want nuance. They want to follow policy, and they want the leader to back them up following policy. They don't want any gray area or any stretching or movement of the policy, and they don't like being asked, what do you think we should do in this situation? They just want someone to make the decision for them. They want to be aimed in a direction like a little marching robot, and they will continue walking until they hit a wall. And then they'll march in place with their nose against the wall until somebody picks them up and turns them and goes, okay, now march in this direction. And they want that. They want that to happen. And I don't want to do that to people. Mainly because I don't want it done to myself, and so I project that onto other people, and I end up like rolling my eyes at employees who want that, right? And so those are the people that but this theory basically says that it's not appropriate all the time, and that they're exactly right. I rely a lot on creating relationships with people that allow them to do what they should be doing, to get better at what they're doing without needing me anymore. I want them to not need me anymore. And so when someone does need more of that, when they need more hands-on leadership, that tends to be the places where I don't shine as well.
It's great that you called that out because I think so much, your comment about like kind of projecting our own ways or our own preferences onto others, I think is such a big thing in spaces like this because it's also one of the things like where there's layers to relationships, and there's nuance to relationships, and there's history to relationships, and there's a lot of times when people that maybe want to have good relationships or feel that they have a good relationship, it's because on the surface it feels good, right? Like
sure, yeah.
Like say like, oh no, like I get along with that person, just like we're good, like we're really really good, and you're like, well, are you? Well, how do you know? Well, yeah, like, we talked, we chatted it up one time and it was great. Well, if you're projecting this need and want for there to be a good relationship, a lot of times people will pick that up and say like, okay, well, if that's what you want to feel, then I'll give you that feeling, right? Whether or not I actually have this relationship with you, I will make it feel that way. We do that a lot with family.
Yes, we
right?
do.
right? Where we have people in our family that any given day you'd say like, this is not the type of personality or
Yeah.
person with life choices that I would go out there and choose to hang out with or spend my time with all the time. But we, in the moments where we have time with them, we listen, we're patient, we treat them with respect, but we walk away and maybe both of us feel like, well, that was good. And we're good, but really, it's like, no, we just want to make sure that we felt good, and I think that happens a lot in leadership as well. When you're this, because if people hear this and say like, that's me, that I'm that kind of leader, like that's the theory that I subscribe to. It's about relationships. I have great relationships. You really have to spend time looking in the mirror and saying, do you? Like, do you actually, or is the relationship great on your side?
Sure.
Right? And is somebody just fulfilling that need of making you feel that it's a good relationship? Because it's easy to do, and we do it as humans all the time. And versus it being when push comes to shove, when there's real dialogue, when there's real conversation and commitment, when there's real things that are happening, do people come talk to you, and do they open up, and do you open up? And are there those moments where the relationship is so established and strong that there's no question as to intent or trust or that type of thing? And I think when those relationships are that good, I don't think you run into the robot walking into the wall that often, because the person says to you, hey, I'm not clear on this. Or like, I'm trying this, it's not working. What do you need from me? Or like help me get down this other path over here. Versus just the robot walking into the wall. I think that's a little bit of a good, if this is happening in your relationships and you're questioning yourself, like thinking like, wow, I wonder why they did that. I thought we were good. Here's the answer. You're probably not good.
Well, I also think there's an element of it can be good and it could be the robot walking into the wall, meaning maybe this is an employee who they don't have aspirations to go into leadership roles or to move up. They just, to them, a job that works for them is one that doesn't have the stress that comes with being a decision maker for any reason. They don't want to make decisions. They want to know what the policy is, and they want to execute the policy. And if that person is asking for more responsibility all the time and wanting to be in leadership roles, but they also want everything laid out for them, that's a problem. But there are a lot of employees out there who don't ask for that. They don't want more responsibility. They don't want to move up. They're not trying to promote. They just want to do the job they were asked to do, be told what it is they're supposed to do, get it done, and leave. And that is the level of commitment or engagement they're willing to do. And if they do their job well, I think it's incumbent upon leaders to do something that I have always struggled with, which is to allow that to happen. Just allow them to be that person if that's what they want to do, instead of trying to say, like, I need you to do more than this, and then judging them when they can't. So a relationship doesn't have to be the person saying, hey, I'm walking into a wall, I got stuck here. That doesn't have to happen in order to be a good relationship. It could be a good relationship because I, as the leader, see them walking into the wall and turn them again where they need to be turned, and just let them continue walking in whatever direction I want to put them in, because that's what they want to do. They're never going to call out that they feel stuck. They're just going to keep doing what it is that they're doing, even though it will look stuck to me. They don't look at it as stuck. They look at it as they were told to do something. They're going to do it.
I think that it's also being conscious of, like, if you know all those things, and if you have accepted it as a leader, and you're not projecting, your thoughts or feelings onto how they should be, then they shouldn't be running into walls.
Well, you should anticipate when the wall's coming and turn them before they get there. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's going to be balls dropped sometimes where you have a lot of people, but I think that it really comes down to, what do you think the aspirations are of your people, and accepting what those are. And it goes back to what a lot of things go back to, which is communication. Like, it's okay to sit down with your people and say, hey, I've noticed that when you get stuck on something, you're asking me for help as opposed to just making the decision on your own. Is that something that you feel comfortable not doing? Like, do you feel like you're not allowed to do that? Or do you feel like you're not allowed to make these decisions on your own? Or do you not want to? Or like, what can I do to help and support so that you feel comfortable? Because I promise, like a person who wants the leader to come and make the decision for them all the time, if that person is not trying to promote and start leading other people and they just want to do their job well, you as the leader, me as the leader, is making that person feel very uncomfortable every time they have to ask. If I am of the belief that they want to do more and get better and start making decisions on their own, I will treat them as such, and that will make for very uncomfortable conversations when they ask for help, because they'll feel like they're putting me out in order to ask. And if they're feeling that way, it's because I'm not doing a good job of making sure that they feel comfortable coming to me and saying, "Yeah, you want me to make these decisions for you? You let me know, come get me, and I'm more than happy to support." And then making sure that they are clear on what the ramifications of that are, which is that there's nothing wrong with just getting mastery of whatever it is that the job is they're doing, and then leaving at the end of the day, and not doing anything more than that. But it really comes back to, do you allow people to be who they want to be? Do you meet them where they are? And are you clear on what that means? Like if what they want out of it is all they're asking for, and you can meet them there, that leads to really high engagement of whatever that is. And that's taken me years to get there. Like, we're to the point where I can not almost like visibly roll my eyes at people who just want to be told what to do, or want to be told what the way is, as opposed to having to, make these decisions on their own.
Yep, this is the way. And with that, it brings us to this episode's 1 Minute Hack. But first, a few words from our sponsors.
The 1 Minute Hack.
All right, for this episode's 1 Minute Hack, here's what I want you to do. Get out your pen and paper, and I want you to write down the names of all the people who you have close relationships with at work. And when I say close, I don't mean good. I mean close proximity. You work alongside them, you interact with them, the people that you spend your time with at work. They could be people who you report to, they could be peers, or they could be people who report to you. Write down all of their names, and then I want you to look at all of that list of people and put a little X next to anybody who hasn't come to you or pushed back on you for anything over the last 60 or 90 days. Anybody who fits that bill, who hasn't pushed back on you for anything, where it seems like the relationship is strong to the point where it's almost, a well-oiled machine, there's no pushback at all, I want you to make a special point to have a conversation with those people, because those are the people who you might be in a situation where you think it's a great relationship and it's not. In great relationships, there is no such thing as one where it is conflict-free or there is no pushback. Great relationships can be defined by the fact that there is pushback and that you can move through it together, because you meet each other where you are, you talk out where the issues are and how you can resolve them together, and then you move forward and you leave those conflicts, so to speak. They could be little tiny conflicts, but you leave these conflicts with the relationship being stronger than what it was before. If you don't have those little conflicts that you've gone through with these people, then it doesn't mean you have a great relationship. It means that you both might be walking away going, yeah, that's good. We're good here. I have a good relationship with this person. That's not a safe way to lead people or to have relationships with people. You want to make sure that these people will call on you in the moment when they need you, that they will that they'll call out when they believe there's a problem so you can fix it, and that's how you judge really a strong relationship. So have those conversations with your people and make sure that the relationship is actually strong, and you don't just think it's strong.
Yeah, I think it's a great 1 minute hack, and just a reminder that it's so important that you have people around you, especially as a leader, that are capable of providing either pushback or feedback, or wanting to have healthy debate and conversation on the perspectives that we all have. And I think that is truly a way to think about and judge whether or not you have the ability to have these transformational relationships, and that this is kind of the theory that you subscribe to. I think that it's to be able to be a transformational leader through relationships, you have to know these relationships are good, and there's definitely different ways that you can look at them, but I think one of them is that those people that are willing to be open and honest with you, push back on you, debate with you. I think that works really, really well.
Right, and good relationship doesn't mean good because they conform to what your definition of a good relationship is. Good relationship means both of you can agree that it's a good relationship. If you think it's a good relationship and the other person does not, it's not a good relationship.
Absolutely. And with that, it brings us to the end of this episode. This is Hacking Your Leadership. I'm Lorenzo.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll talk to you all next time.